Hello and welcome to episode 3 of our Timberborn 1.0 experimental Iron Teeth playthrough here on the Ant Farm map in hard mode. Let's hit pause because we are in a kind of precarious position with food. Surprise, surprise. And we're also at the start of a 6-day drought, which, hey, cycle 3 could have been a whole lot worse. But let's take stock of where we are. We've got a very limited selection of available food. We do have fermented cassava available in very small quantities. And we've got some that is still going to be irrigated, still going to be growing for the rest of this drought. We've got some berry bushes in other parts of the map, especially down here, that are just now being made accessible thanks to the construction of these platforms here. And we do have some in other areas, and since the population is still so small, this is actually going to work tremendously to our advantage in this regard, as we attempt to badtide proof as much as possible before we inevitably are going to get 3 or 4 of those in a row, because that's how this always goes. But outside of that, we do still, since we haven't had a badtide yet, have plenty of trees we can eventually get to cut down for wood. We've started farming some up here. We have this water that's going to be here for at least the entire drought, because it's only 6 days. We got pines, we've got some birches, we've got some oaks, and I wish we had more food available for growing over here, but you know how it goes. We're going to be alright. It might be rough, but we're going to be alright. I also did start putting in some berry bushes, which, to be perfectly honest, I probably should have put in several more, and I'm going to remove some of these pine trees. Here, 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 and here. Yeah, because that's halfway grown. You know what? I don't need to be that worried about it. I'm going to remove these, replace them with some berries. These up here, these oak trees, right now it's probably not an issue, but when we have the first badtide, these are definitely going to die. So let's hope we don't have one anytime soon. I think the crux of our survival here is going to be what we do with this bottom level, and especially this area around this pool that is now at least half full, thanks to this dam here. Water comes in from above through this hole here, and I believe that's the only place that can actually fill this up. Yeah. So in theory, it's possible, if we are only able to do one diversion, even if it's just a temporary kludge thing before the next badtide, it should be this one right here. Which, once we get 120 science, we can put levees in. It would just have to be 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, another 2 here, and then enough to just kind of shove it back this way. So we'll need a couple hundred wood to pull it off. But that's not impossible. Nothing is impossible. It's only extremely improbable or unfairly difficult to achieve in this game. So, all that being said, we're going to need to focus primarily on keeping the beavers alive, but I think we're going to be okay. And if you somehow survive that 5 minutes of me not actually playing the game and talking, then welcome to the rest of the video. We've got plenty of other things to do. I need to have stairs. And I do need another 19 science before I can unlock these. We're going to see what happens. But for right now, we got some hungry beavers. We've got a couple of blueberries we can have them pull up out of the ground. And until we have these cassavas grow back in, which is going to be about another day or so, day and a half maybe. Okay, there's one that we'll get tomorrow in-game. It's going to be just a tiny bit rough. And I do only have 9 adult beavers, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. I need berries for the breeding pod to try and keep the colony alive, because now all these original beavers are going to start dying of old age, and we are going to be in a bad position. So what do we need to focus on? Planting these berries, getting rid of these trees. So I got 2 beavers in here. These guys don't need to be in this farmhouse at all. We can pause the farmhouse. There is no cassava to ferment, so we can pause the fermenter, we can pause the power wheel, we can unpause the game, and now I've got these extra beavers. I've got one in here. I've got these two guys here. I'm going to move them into, or the extras, into the district center so we can get all these other things taken care of. And, folks, we're just going to have to do our best. Once again, kind of limited access to a lot of the extra wood here without us going into some other nonsense. But down here, we do finally have access to these berries, so that will have to be a new gatherer flag. I probably don't want to put it... I'll put it there. That's fine. They can still reach everything. That's going to be very important, at least for the next little bit. This lumberjack flag is, well, lumberjacking. I don't think we have any of these going to come up anytime soon. That's probably fine. Okay, still planting the birch trees. That is important. On a map like this, as some of you have noted in the comments, it is extremely important to have trees available as fast as possible. So I'm going to actually, until such a time as we have everything figured out, I'm going to unplant or unmark the rest of these oak trees for planting, even though they can't plant anything here, and try to focus on getting achievable things done. So all of this right here that would have been pines, I'm going to mark as birches just so we can have logs that much faster. We do still have some pines here, but I think we're going to be probably better served not worrying about that. All right, now what are my builders doing? Carrying logs, as one does. But where are you carrying the logs to, I guess is the better question. Oh, these tanks. Okay, well, you know what? This doesn't need to be a thing right now. We can pause these. Come and grab this rubble here. That is going to disappear in 0.8 days. That need to make sure we're doing that. Yeah, so log storage there is going to be fine. Okay, so hopefully this one is coming over here to get logs. And they are. Very good. So they should be able to grab the rest of that, I believe. If I get this slightly prioritized. I can't remember what else I had them building. I don't think it's that big of an issue. We're not going to run out of water with 10 beavers if we still have other stuff. But it's dried out, so that guy can go somewhere else. Let's put them over here, because we don't have anything that's growing over here that's really that important. Down here, this will be kept alive by all of this stuff. I think that is probably the safest bet. Yes, we're continuing to put in all of these trees. We did finally get a blueberry bush in place. I guess these are going to be the last ones to go in because they're going to be focusing on other stuff. Just need to make sure I don't miss when these cassavas come up. That is going to be the next day. And now this finally has enough berries. That is very good news. Very good news, even. But we are going to be in a really bad situation if we don't have another breeding pod. So, we have to be able to replace the beavers as they die. And right now, one's not going to cut it when we've had so many die of old age within the past 5-6 days. So when we get the rest of these berries down here, it's going to be a good idea to get those going. I can't really keep this as an emergency beaver because I just need more beavers, period, point blank. So we'll let them take care of that. Alright, so this is ready to go, and we do have berries. This should be, if each of these are 3, this should be enough to get us through the rest of this. The rest of this drought here, combined with everything else that's going to be growing back in, as long as we can manage things effectively. I'm going to say that this inventor now needs to be a priority 1 job so that we can get the science to get the stairs, which is going to get us access to the rest of these things. And as I've said all of this, it looks like we've got some blueberries that have become available again. So that is... It's actually not really in a great position to harvest much of anything. Since this is already paused, let's get rid of that. And let's relocate this one to, I guess probably right here is about as good as we're ever going to get. Reduce the transit time to those berries. That should be okay. That's going to pop one out pretty soon. This hasn't even started because, well, I think the reasoning is pretty obvious there. Blueberry, blueberry, blueberry. We'll get these guys out of here. I don't think I need to worry about... maybe I'll leave this open in case I need to build something here. Would be a decent spot to put in a couple more dams, but that's 40 logs I think we could be much, much better served utilizing for other stuff, like, say, diverting this thing up here, which is going to require being careful. But, again, none of this matters unless I can get stairs to get everywhere else, so that is what it is. I'm a little reluctant to go fast here because I don't want bad things to happen, but at the same time, we do have to get some progress going, so we'll speed through the night here and see what these guys are going to be able to take care of. Alright, we'll compromise meet in the middle at 2 times speed. Good, that's already started breeding again. I'm just waiting on berries. Harvesting should be happening. Oh, there's no... Okay, that needs to be a priority job then. No available jobs. No available beavers. You know how it goes. Alright, we also are going to have these cassavas come in today, and that's going to shift some of our priorities around. I don't see as many construction jobs being important now, so I'm going to take those 2 out. See what we can do about everything else. This is going to be sucked dry pretty soon. But remember, it's only, what, 2.1 something water per day in hard mode for a beaver, and we've got 11, so we're already kind of okay. I don't think it's going to be that big of a catastrophe. I've got one more blueberry I can plant there. Get that guy going, and then I'm going to pause this because we're going to, in a very short order, and yeah, it's already here, need them to get some cassava. So it says no available workers in district. No surprise there. Man, I really need this stuff to get done. Let's pause the water pump just because that is not a huge problem at the moment. Might look like it because we only have 100, but remember, we only have 11 beavers. I don't normally play with this few, so that's a little bit of a challenge there. Alright, so you're done. That is now closed. So we should... Yep, we got our 2 beavers here. Gonna pull these things out of the ground. It should just be cassava. And then once that happens, we are, of course, going to have to get 1 beaver in here and 1 beaver in here. We're working on it. Gonna get it done. Alright, so that's operating smoothly there. I don't think that needs to be worried about very much for the time being. Anything else over here that I can take care of? I don't think there's that many more issues in that regard. We should start pretty soon, as soon as these guys get 4 in here. That might take a while, actually. Yeah, it's 4 of these tiles have to be harvested before we can make 10. I see, I just got that, so let's get somebody in here. Am I even building anything? Alright, let's do that. Let's take those guys out of there. And there we go, get those 2 in there. I do have 10 adults again, which is good. Yeah, can't really do too much else except berries at the moment. We're working on it. I'm thinking long term, assuming we can divert so this stays clean, this is going to be the best possible place for us to put a farm in the future. And I've got this guy here that does not reach anywhere else. If I moved him, let's just see. Okay, so that's a seedling that's definitely going to be dead. All of that's going to be dead, so it doesn't matter. I can't fit this here to actually demonstrate, but I think putting it on this tile, yeah, it's going to end up being like 14 or 15 theoretical tiles closer, which is not going to help over here unless I put a bridge this way, but it could make it possible for us to plant some other stuff over here. Now, when this has bad water going through it, I don't think it's going to be the same song we're going to be singing, but for now, that's what we have access to. Okay, and I know we've got that ready to go there. I see 1 cassava. That's fine, I suppose. I just need this to get to 70 science, and then we don't have to worry about this guy for a little bit of time. But let's speed through the rest of the night here. I hope you guys don't mind how much slower I'm going with this. I can't really afford to be at 3 times speed all the time because then, well, quite frankly, a lot of stuff gets missed because I get distracted by panic mode and then bad things happen. I'm attempting to actually survive with this. That is the goal. Now, if we can just keep the beavers from all being hungry at the same time, that really is really going to help. And I think at this point now we might be about to enter that. All right, so we got to 70. I'm going to actually deprioritize but keep that on. I got my 70 science. I only have one plank, but that's not that big of an issue. I just really need to be able to make stairs. Really need to be able to make stairs. So, now what I can do with that is I can finally get up here. There isn't a way to get over on this side besides building stairs, just in case you were curious. Let's make this priority number 1 because that's going to give us access to, I mean, not a ton of extra wood, but it is going to get us a few oaks, 5 or 6, some pines, and then when I can build another staircase, I'm going to get these guys down here. This is going to be a great place to put industry because it's never going to be able to have anything grown on it until I can do artificial irrigation, and that is probably not happening anytime soon. I've got an extra beaver we need to not waste, so let's get them in the lumber mill. I know that's going to decrease the amount of power that can go to each building, but we're also very soon going to be out of cassava ferment, and I really hope I can actually do one more batch. I'm not sure that's going to be possible. I've got one in the tank now. I need 3 more cassava to make one after that, and I think they've just pulled all of the rest back out. So now this can be set to planting priority. I don't need to have any other thing like that. I just need to make sure that I have enough planks to construct, not that, construct the staircase, which, come on, let me click. Yeah, I need 4 of those. Alright, did we pull all of these out? We did. That means that gather flag can be paused until the next time it's able to be used. This should still be irrigated for the most part, long term. What about these guys? Okay, there's still some to get pulled out here. There's nothing that needs to get pulled out there. I've got an extra beaver, which means if I don't have anything else going on here, and I'm not going to get one more cassava, and that's a shame. I can pause that. Full power to the plank machine. Somebody is in here, so that's good. My 2 extra beavers desperately need something to do, so let's unpause this so they can actually start building, because they can't do that if that's paused. That'll get taken care of, and then they can build the lumberjack flag, and then I think I already marked these. I did. Very good. One small step at a time. Okay, is there anything else in here in the next couple of days that's going to become available? I see 75%, but that's 3 days. 86 is like 2.5-ish. These obviously aren't going to come up. So let's pause this, try to focus our efforts on survival things. This inventor probably needs to go somewhere else. Up here is going to be, like I said earlier, a really, really good place to put stuff like this. But I probably should keep my logs available and not, you know, move things around unnecessarily. Pardon the pause for the sneeze just there. But outside of that, I've got, yeah, that's just recently replanted. That's at 98%, so they'll need to get that. These are halfway. I think we're alright. Obviously, could always be better, but right now we need to focus on just keeping these guys alive, trying to expand population if we can. Okay, that's going to be fine for right now. That is fine for right now. We got 40 berries. That's actually really, really encouraging. I know it's only 65 food total, but hey, if you got 11 beavers, that's like 2 days worth of food. We haven't had that much food in storage in a really long time. So, 3 days. Speaking practically here, let's get this triple speed. Got 3 days, and then I have a minimum of 5 on the temperate cycle. So we have a minimum possible duration of 8 days before we might have a bad tide problem. And I've said time and time again that this is the most important thing for us to be concerning ourselves with right here. So, to that end, I need to be able to access from here this tile, or I guess from here. This berry bush, I think, I probably don't need to worry about getting rid of one bush, but I do need to have the path on the stairs. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tiles to build. So I could actually start building this tile without having access from anywhere else. That is probably fine. If I removed this blockage, I could also come in from this side, but I don't think that's actually going to be any closer. I don't think we need to be that worried about it. Alright, so let's take care of that. This is at 12%. I think for the greater good, it's going to be okay to get rid of this, because that's also going to give us this tile on a path. That's going to get us closer. And of course, I can't do anything about it until I have 120 science anyway. So it's not like that's even that big of a deal. But I'm thinking we got 1, 2, 3. We don't need this corner one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then platform 9, 10. I'm pretty sure is all I'm going to need to do a diversion for that. I did check, not that it matters on the edge of the map anyway, but I did check these are 0.5 strength water sources. So we're not going to have any concerns about any of that. If I can do 10 of these, 10 levees, which is 120 logs. I think I might have guessed earlier it was going to be 200 or 300 logs, so I guess, well, I'm not good at math, you know this. 120 logs is not going to be an impossible ask for us at all once we get up to here and once we get the rest of these cut down. I think that needs to be our priority. That's going to keep this pool down below clean. All of this bad water here, once we have our first bad tide, will come through here, but it will not backflow through this dam. It should never ever be able to get high enough to do that, because this is open all the way down, and the combined force of all of these three is only 1.5. So I think it's going to be okay. Now, it's going to decimate our tree farming area over here, but it's not the end of the world. As long as we have stuff down here, we're going to be okay. And this, excuse me, will keep all of these pine trees ready to go. Should be all right. Do I have any of these marked for cutting? I don't. That's wasting a job. Let's, for the sake of getting all this, let's mark those. I'll do one more row. I guess I'll leave the rest of these in place. That should be fine. And I don't have access across here to these. I do have this. I probably don't need to be that worried about it right now. But as soon as I harvest these berries, they can start regrowing, and those are perpetually watered, so that's good. All right, coming along nicely here. We also, you know, we have to have the science to build the levees, and that is probably our biggest problem. So, seeing how things are now, the inventor up here using 12 of those logs is probably a very necessary thing. Let's put this here, and then let's get this built. I don't think I have that many other problems. I don't need so many planks right now either. So let's pause those. Get this taken care of. All right. That should, as far as I can tell, that should help solve most of our issues right now. At least in terms of keeping beavers alive. I need to get them pumping again. That did dry up. That's the way it is. This, I think, is probably, and this is going to be the best places for us to stick our beavers who are otherwise not going to be working. I know that says they're not going to be working there because there's no available beavers, but this is already built. We don't have any other construction happening right now, so let's pause that. Shouldn't be a problem. That's fine, that's fine. They're going to need to be restocked, and they won't if the beavers are not, you know, working in there. But it's okay. How are we looking here? 27%, 27. This is going to be 24, 23. That's okay. Well, we knew this was going to be a long-term thing, and honestly, when it gets a bad tide, it's not going to matter anyway. Now these are all dead. I can check, and I know they're not going to build it because, well, the beavers aren't working there. Now, okay, so that doesn't really do anything except open up this space for farming stuff. And I think if this has clean water in it and this has bad water in it, this is high enough where the bad water shouldn't affect it. And this can still reach everything else I need to be growing. So, I know it's 20 logs, but if I demolish this, then it might actually get me a couple of irrigable spaces there. Let's do that. And then I can reorganize some of these paths. I know that really bothers some of you guys. My poor path layouts. So if we just do that, so no, that doesn't need to be a thing. That does simplify things just a touch. I could, since this doesn't need to go that way, I could have this come across here. And that would give us another 3 tiles in exchange for taking 2 for growable stuff. It's 36%. These are both irrigated, so I'm not going to dare mess with them, but I will unmark those right there. That should be probably a better idea, because that's going to it's just going to be better overall, I think. Like I said, this here is going to be able to reach just about everything. I don't have another space except for down here, which wouldn't reach all the top, and for right now I can't justify having more than one farmhouse. Period, point blank. I've got 2 trees. And then this one is going to die in 10 days, so I don't think that really matters. But this, especially since this is irrigated right now, if we can make it work... Okay, that guy's full of berries. Let's pause that. Just, we don't need to be worried about that. I don't have anywhere else to put the berries. Alright, so that's going there, making twice as much science. I've got 41 logs. I have the planks. Let's put in... Then the gains are going to be much better than any potential losses here. Let's get those. And that should help us out considerably. Each of these are 8. So we know that's going to be fine. We have another one up here. Can let that just kind of go autonomously. Let's commit to rushing science. Let's get this built. Actually, the farmhouse needs to be priority number 1 because as soon as possible we need to be planting more stuff. That should be okay. So now 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this should be alright. I'm not going to be able to do anything about these blueberry bushes being in the way until I can get across, which may end up causing problems. I don't dare research bridges with this. Platforms might end up having to be what we do here. I think I'm going to need 58. Okay. I think I'm going to need to take at least 1 more blueberry out so I can get this other thing. Every square matters. It really does. Yeah, that's going to be easily within reach. No problems there. All of this going, that's fine. Alright. Now, of course, I know they can't build if there's no beavers to build with, so got to get those guys back in there now that we figured out what's actually going on. These guys are pumping both of those. That's fine for 10 beavers. That's all we have. This is going to need another refuel, I think. Maybe, maybe not. If it's at this point. Nope. Yeah, see, there it goes. They will, they'll get there. They'll get there. Should be okay. Now, that 1 beaver there can harvest. Let's, before we get too proud of ourselves here. If this is going to be irrigated forever, it needs to be cassava. That's just going to have to be what this is. This lumberjack flag, I'm going to have to get rid of it in favor of having 1 more cassava plant. I think that is the only reasonable way to approach this. I don't think I'm going to need any more planks for a while. All of this just really needs to be cassava. The berries should keep these guys alive, I think. Especially because we have these raw cassavas that are going to be pulled out. Those actually probably should be prioritized. To get those guys pulled out so we have them ready to go. Oh, planting down here, though. That's good. That's good that we have those. This gatherer flag cannot reach these. This gatherer flag can, and it isn't because it's full. Alright, so small warehouse. This map isn't big enough to really be that worried about travel times for beavers. But that small warehouse definitely needs to be built so we have somewhere else to put berries that's not in the way. These guys are really, they're working hard. They're doing a good job. But I still need that 120 science. I think I can do this in 5 days if I am very careful about how this works. So if you're expecting a whole lot of progress this episode, you're probably not going to be too happy with me. But that's fine. This is not plantable anyway, so let's just put those two there so I can get a tiny bit closer in case I need to demolish anything. I think that is probably okay. Okay, so this is operating. Got 2 beavers in there. Really, really, really need these 2 to pop out pretty soon because I got to get these numbers up. In terms of well-being, for the absolutely deplorable position in which we find ourselves, it's actually not that bad. I can't justify spending science on aesthetics yet, but we do have... I do have a teeth grindstone already. A campfire is probably a necessary thing at this point. I'm not worried about having enough logs. I know we still have emergency enough to, pull up. So campfire up here is probably the best idea. Over here where it's poisoned. I know it's far away, but who cares? It's gonna be all right. Especially because I can't do anything over here quite yet. Did they build the berry storage? They did, which means this guy can go back to work. That's fine. This can stay paused. That's going to be okay. I just need to make sure we keep that coming in. And we've harvested most of the cassava. I'm not going to process them yet. Mostly because I don't have enough beavers to have everywhere. This is still, that needs to be a priority job. I forgot about that. Yeah, that is the unfortunate reality in which we find ourselves. Okay, there's nobody working here anyway. These guys are working on building that. That's fine. That's fine. I know this is only going to be another couple percent, but hey, 40% on growing is still pretty good. This is dry. Not that it matters on the last day of the drought cycle, but every little beaver matters. And we are certainly going to need additional water before we get too far. Alright, yeah, that's going to be okay. Has this guy got enough to get there? He probably does. Oh boy, I'm so afraid of using triple speed. Because you know how this goes. But getting the well-being up is really going to make a big difference, especially if we can keep it above 7. Well, because you know how that works, right? Well, this is just a child, but that well-being of 8 does give them a boost to growth speed. If we can get it to 10, that helps as well. We do get the movement speed buff at 2, and we get the life expectancy buff at 7. So, cycle 4 begins. We get all of our water back, and that means that it is about to be time for us to put our nose to the grindstone, so to speak, and get some more of this stuff going, especially water pumping. That is going to be, that's going to be hard for us to... Man, I keep saying us. I don't know. There's probably a bunch of you watching this that are much smarter than I am with the game. And I'm sure you were angry watching this, but that's alright. If at any time the incompetence of myself or my beavers causes you distress, feel free to click away and go do something else that enriches your life. You will not offend me. Alright, but I really need these guys in here planting, which means... I don't think there's any more building happening, so let's pause that. That just popped out and got refilled. That's fine. That is looking alright. Yeah, I need them I need them pumping. I don't need them pumping as far away as possible from everything, so I'm going to open these two. Should be fine. Get these guys in here. Don't need the forester to do anything. I do have these trees that are ready to cut right now, and it looks like our storage is full. So, man, I sure wish I could, actually get something going here. I'll tell you what. I can utilize a platform here to start making my way over to other parts of the map to get this taken care of. Because this is a blockage here, that's watertight. Okay, first of all, oh, 1%? Yeah, no, you're done. It's over. That can be removed. That should be alright. I don't have anybody working down here who doesn't have to be working down here, right? Good. Okay, this guy has nothing else to do. That's fine. We'll get that labor back. We don't need to be that worried about this. This is all fine. We are planting. Since we planted so many more cassava, I'm going to actually have this spot right here be more emergency kohlrabi. I know I've flip-flopped on this like 5 different times. But it is nice to have a crop that doesn't have to be processed for you to be able to do something with. Remember, once we get to 120 science, I don't need these for a while, so we can get those guys going somewhere else, but I can't do anything else for diversion strategy until I have levees unlocked and all that stuff taken care of. Let's make sure we get this path started in here. 78%, I'm going to let that keep growing. Everything else, I got a homeless beaver, that's fine, they can get over it. Get these guys planted here. There's only a couple more things that need to be pulled out. That's fine, they got stuff to do. It'll be alright. This is working here. This guy has plenty more to do, but he doesn't have anywhere else to put stuff, so that's going to require a pile. I will just put right here for some logs, so we know those guys can do that, except I have this paused because I don't have enough beavers to do building at the same time. So, who can I take out? 93. I'll just pause this right now, get a beaver in here for building, because you know we absolutely have to have something. That's fine. And they'll take care of that as well. Am I going to need any other stairs? Once I actually start building this, I'm going to need stairs, and it's going to get a little, rough. I think I can construct it in such a way where I'm not going to need any stairs at all, but it might not be the quickest way to do that. Alright, so it looks like I basically can't take anybody out of the farmhouses right now anyway. That should be a thing. Alright, so where is my builder beaver right now anyway? Okay, building this? Good. That's exactly what you should be doing. Hurry up and finish this. There we go. Alright, so now all of these guys can keep doing what they're doing. The 2 inventors might get me across the finish line here. It's 1 per hour, and I got them working 18-hour days, and nobody's starving, which, you know, in this, in this playthrough, that's a huge benefit. Alright, can I trim anyone else? I need to keep pumping water. I really can't afford not to be pumping water. Really cannot afford not to be pumping water. I need to build... for all my talk about, oh, I gotta save my logs so I can do my diversion. Well, you know, that doesn't matter nearly as much as actually having places to put water. So, since we don't have the science quite yet... Oh, you know, I actually paused this one. I forgot. Let's keep those paused. Let's just reserve that space, though. That's fine. I think tomorrow in-game is going to be the day of cassava fermenting. And that's probably going to require I pause my builders. And I guess it doesn't matter if I do that. That should be fine. Get this back to normal speed. Platform is going to go here as a reminder, because that's going to support the diversion setup that I was working on. One levee on top of this, one levee on top of this. Oh, you know what? I do have to have a staircase. I have to put it here so I can get rid of this one blueberry bush so I can build something on it. That is going to be the best way to do this. But it does have a berry on it, so I'm going to leave this paused until we have our 120 science. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. I can build, if I can get up here, I can build this, and then I can put a platform here, and I can build above that before I have to do anything over here. That's probably going to be the best thing we can do. It's fine. We got cassava. I don't have a ton, but I do have some. We're going to have a lot more pretty soon, especially since we planted these during the drought here. Yeah, 40%, that's good. Food security is not that far away, folks. It's not necessarily right around the corner either, but we are, we're making some progress. Alright, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Let's just get that finished. 19. There we go. Alright. Paused and paused. I will deprioritize this, but I don't think we're going to have the opportunity to get those guys in there. I know I talked big game about doing this, but I really can't build anything until everything's taken care of otherwise. So, now that I've done that, I can unpause the builders. Get this in here, get this going so we can harvest these berries. I don't think they're going to get to this before it's removed, but I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. Even so, I can't prioritize harvesting of specific berries, even though that would be super awesome and convenient if I could. I got 3 cassavas. I don't see anything else coming in, so it's time to pause that. I think I'm going to actually, I'm going to need some of these to be turned into planks. So I should not have done that. Alright, what else? What else? Is there anything that needs to be harvested right now, or can I pause the farmhouse? I'm going to pause the farmhouse. Okay, both of those are going pretty well. Need to get well-being up, but that is not going to be a super simple process. See, I don't have anywhere I can put a rooftop terrace because I don't have any structures I can build on top of. These all cost science. Oh, 12 logs. 12 logs for a shrub I don't think is worth it at this time. Alright, so those guys are going to need to work on that. I mean, water obviously is going to be pretty important, but I think the rest of this probably matters just a little bit more. Yeah, let's get these guys rolling on just a few other things. Platform here. And then I obviously do need to research the levee. Okay, so this levee here can be built without there being a whole to-do. I don't need to put a levee here necessarily. I do need to put one here. But the problem we're going to run into is that's going to cause some strange flooding, so it's best if I have this completed first. But I can't build the one on top of this until I can get there. But I do have to get across here first. Oh boy, what a consideration for me to have to make here. Well, I'm pretty sure putting a platform here is going to be the most economical use of resources, even though I know you have to turn the wood into planks. But it's 1-to-1, so it is actually cheaper. Believe it or not. Alright, so this beaver, I do not think is going to have time to get over here before this becomes a huge problem. We're going to know at the start of day 4 just how bad it's going to be. Our options, I don't know why I even bothered slowing that down. Our options are we get the drought or bad tide warning, or we don't. And if we don't, that means we have 1 extra day. If we get a drought warning, it's not nearly as bad. If we get a bad tide warning, then, well, you're going to see a very interesting next couple moments of YouTube here. Okay, no warning. Good. Best possible scenario. Best possible scenario. That means I have the time to come over here, and even though it might not make sense to you, let's, for the sake of actually getting this accomplished as fast as possible, let's actually get that platform going. Let's get rid of this one. I don't need to get rid of this because I don't need to build on that tile. Remember, we just have to be able to have an emergency diversion in place. What may end up happening, if we get a bad tide, then yes, I'm building levees all the way up on this. If we get a drought, I don't have to build anything on this column at all, and I can instead wait and put in a floodgate at a later point in time if I can get the science for it. I think that is a viable option. What's probably going to happen is I can't justify the 250 science for the double floodgate yet, so this would probably end up being a regular levy, and then a single floodgate on top of it. Maybe. We will see. We are going to see what happens. I know I don't have to rush through this yet, but at this point, I might as well. I don't have to get rid of that. Just remember, I don't have to waste my resources on it. I just need to have these in place so that we avoid the worst of everything. And nope, that's not facing the right way. Gotta fix that. Gotta fix that. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but it also does, you know? If you know, you know. That's looking okay. How are we doing on food? Is there anything else to harvest right now? Doesn't look like the answer to that question is yes, but it probably will be soon. 81%. What about up here? 62. Okay, good. I can keep that paused until such time as it is needed. Water storage. Actually, probably the most important thing we can do right now. Outside of diversionary stuff. So that is okay. Alright, we just... Having so few beavers is really, really great for not having to worry about feeding everybody, but it... Oh, it's a big challenge, but that's what this map's about, right? Keep that going just fine. This is fine. Do I have any more space for berries? No, I do not. Alright. So, simple value proposition here. If I build another small warehouse, I get 30 capacity. It takes 3 logs. For 5 times that, to make 15 logs worth, I get more than 5 times the capacity of the small warehouse. So, what I need to do is find a place for a small warehouse, or not small warehouse, a medium warehouse. Fortunately, we've got a tremendously large area up here with absolutely nothing going for it. Oh, you need to save the logs for the... it's going to be alright, don't worry about it. We need to have storage more than anything else. That is... Oh, that is absolutely paramount. So that's the situation we find ourselves in. That's fine. We are starting to kind of run out of some trees here, but we have a surprise tool that'll help us later. We have, or right now, we have a lumberjack flag ready to go, and we have all of these things ready as well. We've got these berry bushes that are almost full grown in another couple days, which if we get a bad tide, none of this matters anyway. But we tried, and that's what matters most, right? Okay. Okay, we got to get our farmhouse going here. Got to get these guys harvesting and replanting as much as we can. I've got this small tank almost under construction because this is basically full. We can't really afford that. Got to be able to store stuff because who knows how long this next drought or bad tide is going to be. Certainly not me. But we're going to find out at dawn of day 5 just how much trouble we are about to be in. And I'll tell you, boys and girls, I'm a little worried. Alright. Come on, bring it on. We don't need to worry about replanting trees quite yet. What we're about to find out is going to determine if I turn that on. Alright. Oh, God. Oh, God. Alright, we have 3 days. We have 3 days where nothing else matters. Let's hit pause. Nothing else matters except building everything here that we can possibly build to avoid absolute catastrophe. All right, so now this is the mission here. We have to get rid of this. We have to put stuff up here. We have to put a platform here, which means I need planks. Okay, I should go ahead and make those so that's not as big of a problem. I could... Is that marked for cutting? It is. I could get rid of these stairs for emergency planks if it comes down to it, but I do need to have some in the chamber ready to go. I'm down 2 beavers on jobs, but I know they can build this anyway. I really need this stuff to get built. Okay, this we do not need. So that is automatically fine. Or more fine. This, now, building all of this should be fine. And then I can have... This will be the last... The one that's going to go up here, and then the one that goes above this are going to be the last 2 that go in. So that is, I think, doable in the time frame that we have. But I'm going to have to cut all of the nonsense. All of these jobs we can't actually justify. I can pause that gather flag because, well, we're full on berries anyway. These aren't going to go away. These aren't going to go away. These is going to be a bad time. It's going to be a really bad time. So, knowing that we are going to get absolutely annihilated by badtide, this dam no longer matters. So that can become logs that we can pick up off the ground and utilize without cutting down trees. I've got 60 logs now. I've got 15 on the ground. This is another 12. This is another 12. This is another 12. So that's 36 logs unaccounted for. Take the 15 on the ground out. Then I've got 31. I've got 1 there. I've got 30. After I build all of these, I'm going to have to put in 24 stack here, 24 stack here. We are actually doing a lot better. A lot better than I thought. This guy is going to be more valuable job-wise than this guy because all of these trees have comparatively fewer logs. So let's pause that. In case you couldn't figure it out, I'm trying to get 4 beavers in here to work. I will only need 6 planks. I've got 3 right here. If I demolish this, I will get 3. I would like not to do that because I have this oak tree right here that this guy should be cutting down. Failing that, if I am just unfathomably desperate, I don't think there's any other... well, you know, I could actually take this platform out because we're not using this anyway. We'll get there when we get there. Well, let's see what we can get our guys to do. Let's see if we can make it happen. Because right now I don't even have anybody in here anyway. Okay. I think that's gonna be what we have to do. Just have to be able to save stuff. I've got to be able to have the farmhouse do what the farmhouse has to do. Let's have that in harvest mode, priority. Actually, there's not really much for them to harvest. Okay, this here is done. This platform can be harvested for planks. Good, that actually solves all of our problems right there. I had forgotten about that. Okay, no storage space for planks. I thought I had storage space for planks. Did I change it over to logs? Yes, I did. Okay, easiest thing for us to do to stop this from being an absolute clown show is going to be to put in somewhere. And I guess right here is fine. Yeah, we have to have a spot for planks. Gotta be able to... this whole thing is hinging on this actually being finished, but this has got priority. So let's not as priority that. Just these guys have got to be able to work. Got to be able to work. I do have 4 there, though. My water is just about full, but I can't justify taking anybody else out. Yeah, I have to have this completed, or none of this is going to matter at all. And I think it's probably already too late. Okay. This, if I move, is going to go underneath that, so that's fine. Alright, now this is... It's already done. Alright, good. All of this now absolutely must be finished. I got my 4 beavers. That's done. It's about to be done. The advantage here, which isn't, you know, necessarily that huge of an advantage, is that it's all basically in the same spot. I don't think they obviously can't work on something above something else without that first thing being done, but you know how this goes. There's a very good chance this is not going to be good. This also, because this is currently full, could possibly backflow into here when there's nothing coming this way, but I think because this outlet right here is currently trying to take 5 sources worth, which is, I think, 2.5 over here. Could be maybe 4, but it's trying to take 5 sources worth. It's only going to have, if I can finish this, 3 sources worth. So that should allow that water level to go down a little bit. I do still have 4 beavers working on this, right? Okay. Alright, this guy now has nothing to do. Hit pause, go do something else. I don't have science to research a builder's hut. Oh, boy. Okay, so that was a... higher priority because that was built first, but it's done. So now we should... I know this is kind of far away for them to go get logs, but we should be able to take care of that. I don't know if I can justify 24-hour days yet. They are going to become exhausted. I think it's an undesirable situation I've placed myself in. At the moment that this levee is completed, it's going to start flooding over here, and that could cause problems. It's going to cause enormous problems if we don't finish everything else before the end of this warning season. But the way this is going now, I think we might be okay. I only see 24 more logs in storage. I don't know how many are in transit, but that's going to be enough to do both of those. I need to have 24 more. Which means I've got to have one of these guys still working to cut trees down. Where can I rob from? All of these are going to be poisoned anyway. I'm going to have to build another pump or 3 down here. And my storage is full. 260 something is really not enough. But it's all I've got. Okay, I took that one away. I don't have any others anywhere else. Yeah, see this, it's gonna be a little rough for a little while. But, never say never. Don't count the beavers out. That's, one thing we have learned. Never count the beavers out. They might be able to do it. Now, if we get these 2 finished and we still only have about 10 logs, then I can get these inventors out of here. I don't care about the quote-unquote waste so much as I care about saving for whatever duration of bad tide we're about to have. Let's go to 19 hours just so I can try to get this finished and get started. Every little bit counts. Every little bit counts. I just got to get these guys in here doing this. Alright, take that back down to 18. Alright. Alright, do or die day. Got 1 day left. I got 7 logs in there. I got 19 in the chamber. I guess we'll see. We'll see in pretty short order just how bad of a situation this is going to be. But I'm going to need to place this and keep that paused. I can't build them both at the same time, but I don't have to self-regulate which one of these is paused. I just have to have the bottom one paused so they can get to this. Actually, no I don't. Because they can stay on the blockage. Alright, boys and girls. Put on your big boy pants. Or big girl pants, I guess it doesn't really matter, but... Are we going to actually do this? Are we actually going to manage to do this? I'll tell you what, well, this episode's already an hour long, it's fine. I didn't think it was going to be possible, but it looks like it is. Yeah, so we already have some going off the edge there. So, we haven't finished it yet, but the logs, to my knowledge, do exist. And we should, in theory, be able to get this completed. I see 1 beaver, 2 beaver, 3 beaver. Where's the 4th beaver with logs? There's 4 beavers with logs is 8 logs total. There we go. So I know we do have enough. So we're going to lose a little bit of the clean water coming through here, but most importantly, the bad water is not going to come through here. And that's going to save our lower thing right here. Mostly. I'm still kind of worried about this. But this is actually looking like we might be in good shape. I just need 4 more logs. They're going to have to go back and grab those, but they should have enough time. Food-wise, I can, now that I have 1 extra beaver, I can get somebody in here. Who can I pause? Yeah, also rest in peace all of these blueberries. And all of these blueberries, but at least we'll have these. At least I still have my personality. Oh boy. Alright, I've only got a couple hours left. Do we see them coming up with logs? Okay, I saw 1. I saw 1. Do I see 2? Well, it doesn't really matter because I can just extend hours on this anyway. Yeah, okay, we're good. We're good, folks. We are so good. Well, in comparison to the nightmare scenarios that I've been envisioning over the past 2 days before recording this episode. Oh, boy. So, 255 water. I'm really hoping that this is not a long bad tide, but you know how it goes. All right, we finished. The beavers can get a nice rest. And that is, yeah. That's going to be a fun problem for us to solve. I see no movement here, which is a good sign. This is already below the threshold on the dam. All right, let's find out. Let's find out our fate. But I really do appreciate you guys watching these videos. You already know the drill. Beard boosters make it possible for us to do this without sponsors, without me having to chase the algorithm or, you know, try to edit stuff down or whatever. I just want to have a good time playing with the beavers on the internet, like anyone would. And not read too much into that, I guess. Regardless, I really do appreciate all the support. And I know there's probably a whole lot of new people on here. I am definitely not the best Timberborn player around. I'm not the smartest. But I can always be honest, and I can always show you the authentic stuff that happens in the game and not try to play it up for whatever. So, I guess now at this point, all we got to do is get this started on the bad tide and see what's happening here. How many days? Alright, 11-day bad tide. You know, it's going to be rough, folks. Things are going to go poorly, but this area here is going to be absolutely fine. And that feels good. That feels extremely good. But now it's time for us to say goodbye on this episode, and I guess whenever I upload the next one, we'll find out what happens. I don't know. I am genuinely concerned about a lot of things, including but not limited to what's happening with all of our food supply, with all of these bad tide things going on. But we managed to save part of the bottom of the map, and that may be the thing that saves us. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again soon for more beavers. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.